Welcome to the SCLD podcast, where we talk about all the things you can do and find at the library.
Hello, I'm Erin Dodge, the Communications Specialist at Spokane County Library District. With me today, returning guest, Gwendolyn Haley. She's a librarian and the Public Services Manager for Education and Enrichment, also with SCLD here at the library.
Yes.
And today we're talking about winter reading, specifically a winter reading challenge.
Yes.
And welcome back.
Well, thank you. I'm really glad to be back. So this is, I know it's weird to be talking about things that are happening in January, or maybe not so weird.
We're heading into January.
Yeah. So for January 1st until January 31st, we're doing a winter reading challenge with on our Beanstack application. It's the same platform we use for our summer reading.
Speaking of summer reading, how is this different and how is it the same?
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's different because it's in January. That's the easy peasy answer. But it's also it's a little shorter. It's only 31 days.
Okay.
And the amount of reading we're asking people to do is less as well.
Yeah.
And then there's a theme for this one, and it actually comes from this beautiful book that I have here in front of me called "Where We Come From" by Diane Wilson, Sun Young Shin, Shannon Gibney, and John Coy. And this is a beautiful picture book with just sort of poems and reflections on where we come from, the places
wonderful.
We come from, and each of the authors and illustrators has kind of reflected on how they would answer that question.
I see.
And so then it's a bingo challenge this year.
It is?
Yeah, which is really fun. So that's instead of having to just log minutes, you're actually kind of choosing from a bingo card what you want to do.
Oh,
and
fun.
So that includes reading 20 minutes a day.
Yes.
Always good for us. And then also some of the activities involved just taking a moment and reflecting on what these concepts mean to you. Like, what does it mean to come from somewhere, and to reflect on your family and your friends and maybe your heritage, your community. Yeah. For some of us, we have a really strong sense of place.
Right.
And so that's part of that as well. And I think about that because for me as a kiddo growing up, I was a military brat.
I was going to say, I was thinking military in place, and that would be hard.
Yeah, it is. It is sometimes, but maybe not, because then it becomes part of being a military brat it's an identity all of its own as well, and you have a strong sense of heritage there. And when you meet other folks who you immediately have that in common, you're like, oh, I know the 3-year shift where every couple of years, new school, new friends, but the things that you keep with you and the value, and your family, gives you your values and
families
like that.
Can be small and they can be big.
They can be really big.
And so it just depends on who you are and where you come from.
But every single one of us would answer this question very differently.
Yes,
and I think it's lovely to think about. So that's what the challenges are, is just a chance to kind of reflect on how we would answer this question and what that means to us. And, for those of us who are adults, who have children, maybe we're thinking about what are those things that we want to pass on to our children as they answer this question. Where do I come from?
Right.
And what that means to them. And some people, they've found families and they've created families of networks of close relationships with friends and neighbors. And that's a really important part of this question and answering this for them. And I think it's really lovely to take that time in January at the beginning of a new year and to reflect on where we come from and how we want to pass that on to.
Well, and you reminded me that, sometimes there's the family, the people you relate to, then there's the friends. There's also like the things you enjoy doing and the people you enjoy doing it. So if you're an avid hiker and you have a hiking group, that could be part of that, where I come from this group of people who like to go and explore, that
and sometimes we never really think about this until we travel someplace else. And my husband and I talk about this when we lived overseas for a while. We never felt so very American, really, because we just felt like us until we lived for a long time in another country. And then we felt very American. And because we realized all of these things that are part of me, I didn't realize were just very much part of my identity as being from the United States and growing up here. And Yeah, and my daughter is going to school on the East Coast, and she feels very much like a Washingtonian, very much like a Pacific Northwest kid.
Yeah.
And she met someone from Portland the other day, and she was like, oh, we have
this thing in common.
Right. And it's funny, the farther you get away from home,
yes.
I have found, the more when you meet someone who's from anywhere around your sense of home expands. So when we met people from Oregon when we were living overseas, we were like, oh, you're our people, but also people from California and people from Montana.
Yeah.
And frankly, the folks from Alabama, we're like, we have more in common with you than where we're living right now.
Right,
and we're so glad to know you. So it's funny that you can answer it a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
The latest issue of Engage is here. Inside, you'll find programs and resources for all ages and a wide variety of interests. Explore creative topics that spark the imagination. Find programs for health and wellness, financial education, gardening, and more. Hear from best-selling authors. Bring young children to weekly story times. See our STEM programs for kids. Discover digital resources that can help you pick up a new hobby and explore topics for personal and professional growth. Pick up your copy of Engage at any of our libraries or flip through the digital version today on our website at scld.org.
Well, okay, let's also, so this is the theme, where we come from. Mm-hmm. And so now, is this a kids reading challenge or an everybody reading challenge?
It's for everybody.
Okay.
It's a great one for to do, for adults to do. It's a great one for kids to do. It's a great one for families to do together.
Yeah.
And so this is the book that's been the inspiration for it, Where We Come From. We have this available in hard copy like this in our library. It's also available on Hoopla, which is one of our platforms where you can read books online, and then and so you can catch it anywhere, and also will be available within the app, within the Beanstack Challenge.
And I believe
itself.
Hoopla, there's no waiting list. You just click it and read it.
I think so, yeah, because it's streaming. Yeah,
yeah, I've done that.
Streaming, it's a book,
sure,
but you know what I mean.
Yes. You have to be online, I think, to read it or something. Mm-hmm. But so
it's really great, and it's beautiful, and the illustrations are just lovely. And so each of the days, or each of the badges that you would earn for the bingo challenge, in addition to the reading minutes, has something to do with thinking about this. You might do an art craft, or think about something that. Is there a skill or something that you have that is important to you, that's been shared with you, and that you want to share with other people? And opportunity, some writing prompts for those of us who are literary, which is you more than me, and that's okay. Because I have a terror of the blank page. So, no, thank you. But yeah, and so it's just for the month of January, and it's nice because January is kind of blah. January
it can be a little bit gray, a little bit dull. It's right in the heart of winter.
It's right in the heart of winter. It can be cold. It can be very dark and wintry. And I'm saying this as someone who identified that we moved here when I was a kid from the South. So think about where I come from.
Yes.
We did not handle that first winter here particularly well.
So
it was
I come from Southern California also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that first winter, it felt like it was going to be cold and dark, and it's going to last forever. So it doesn't. That's the good news. But.
The sunset sunrise thing really threw me off that first year. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, oh, that's different.
Right? Yeah.
It made me think about longitude and latitude way more than I ever had before in my life.
Never had cause to think about it prior to that. Yeah. But for people who are from even farther north, like when they think about where they come from in their places, a lot of it comes with like those winters and the northern lights and things like that are not part of our experience.
Which is beautiful.
And, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, right. Yeah. So January 1st to 31st. And this one's a little different too. There's not prizes. It's really just about, reading and doing the challenges and just kind of doing a little gentle sort of engaging your brain in the dark months of the winter at the beginning of the year. And for kids, of course, reading is always a good thing, 20 minutes a day.
And that's not really a lot to ask.
No. And there's no specific thing. You don't have to read this book if you don't want to. You can just read whatever you want.
And that would include audiobooks.
It includes
graphic novels.
Mm-hmm. You can just read the newspaper on one of our online digital resources and catch up on. Yeah.
If an older kid has younger siblings, they could read aloud to that
all
their
counts.
sibling, and they both get credit.
Yeah.
for reading. That's
and
cool.
what's cool about this is the libraries that have, it is a little bit of a competition from library to library. That is one huge difference between this and the summer is that the prizes are actually for the library systems that participate.
Okay.
So libraries that have a lot of folks
we want you to read.
Yeah, please read and sign up. But it's exciting. So it can include, money, also author visits and things like that. That are sometimes
we might get something that.
Yeah. So if everybody participates, we could win.
We could win something.
A prize.
That
it's
we could
for
share.
all of us. Yeah. And that's kind of, so we're all in this together.
Oh, cool.
So we think really it's a fun way to engage with reading, and it's fun to track your reading. And a lot of folks who did summer reading already have their accounts. They already know how to use the app on their phone. If you don't know how to use the app, I highly recommend using the app.
And it's pretty easy, and we're going to have the link to Beanstack and how and when can we sign up?
You can start signing up in December. And the challenge starts January 1st.
You start reading January 1st and start the new year. Have a month of great reading.
Start the new year right. Yeah. And read whatever you want. So you can read whatever your favorite genre is. You can listen to audiobooks. You can challenge yourself by reading things that you wouldn't normally read.
That's,
always fun.
My son loves humorous books. If he's laughing, he's reading.
There you go. Yeah. And that's the nice thing. When we were talking earlier before we started, Erin, and you had asked, like, well, kids already read a lot in school.
Yeah.
And that is true.
So,
they do.
what if a parent is like, well, why do I have to make them read more at home?
Right.
What would you say to them?
I would say that reading in school is great, and kids need to be doing that.
Right. But
also there is always a space and a place for reading what you want to read and picking something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
It's really great for kids because, again, it allows them to build those fluency skills. It's great to read together as a family.
Yes.
We just finished a short novel called The Two Old Women, a novella, and it's about an Athabascan Native American story about from the Athabascan indigenous people in Alaska, speaking of being cold and dark in the winter. And it was a great story that was shared. And so we read that together as a family. It was a lot to talk about. So it was a chance for us to kind of engage with another culture and other cultural traditions and values and talk about what we had in common with that. So, reading is something for you to do for yourself. For as adults, it helps us kind of reset our brain a little bit. It gets us away from doom scrolling, which we all know what that is. And, it's
sometimes I even go scrolling down it's not doom scrolling, but it's like rabbit hole. Like I didn't really need it. It's fluff.
Yeah,
I see a lot of fluff. I'm like, I didn't need all that fluff.
No, and so it also it also helps just kind of. Reading is something that can kind of help you calm your heart rate, and it's relaxing. A lot of people read before bed for that reason. Yes. It helps us slow down and take some time to really think about something, which is really good for us. It helps us develop empathy because we're reading about experiences and people who are different than us and coming to understand what it's like to walk in their shoes a little bit.
That's true.
That's true for kids too, honestly.
Well, and if there's a kiddo out there who just doesn't seem to enjoy reading, what would you tell that parent?
Oh, we get this question all the time. Yeah. And I would say, just like we do with foods where we give kids a lot of different options and they kind of eventually find what they like, I think it's important to give kids a lot of different options of different kinds of books to read, different
And the library
genres.
might be the place to go.
Yeah, the library is the best place to go. And some kids, we also have some things like tumble books, which allow for, they're animated picture books, then the kids can read along with it.
Yeah, the words are like on the screen. And
you can follow along and it turns the pages, but it's a little more engaging. Yeah. Sometimes for kids who are like don't want to struggle. And I also would say like then read a little. Like
sure.
Right. 20 minutes a day is a great suggestion. It's a great habit to build to, but it's not prescriptive in the sense that if you're not doing it, you're doing something wrong.
Sure.
That if a kid wants to read for 5 minutes a day and they enjoyed that 5 minutes, that's a win. A win is a win.
Because the next day it might be 6.
My day might be 6. And if they find something that it's engrossing, but again, it's important then to try lots of different things. Because some kids, like my husband and I have talked about this a lot. I was a big fiction reader, always have been. Mm-hmm. That's my jam.
Me too.
And my older daughter is also a big fiction readers. Greg and our youngest daughter, big nonfiction readers.
My husband loves nonfiction.
Yeah. And so he would spend a lot of time reading nonfiction as a kid. That was his go-to.
Yeah.
And that's great. And kids should, that's reading.
And the library has a lot of nonfiction books for kids.
So many great nonfiction books.
Yes.
And it's a different kind of reading sometimes too.
Sure.
Because it's not, there's a lot of pictures and sometimes you're just reading the captions, but there's so much there to engage with in nonfiction. And then for my youngest daughter, like she just, when she reads, it's for a purpose. And that's the only time she reads. She does not enjoy fiction. It breaks my heart. I'm a librarian. She doesn't. I'm a children's librarian, and I'm like handing her these great children's books. I'm like, yeah, and she's like, meh. But
not her jam.
That kid sat down and read, and I kid you not, Erin, she read from cover to cover. iPhone 12 for dummies for seniors.
Oh, wow.
That kid knows how to do things on my phone
that
I didn't even know existed.
Wow.
Because she read it cover to cover because she wanted to know.
Okay. Yeah. She enjoys gaining knowledge.
She does.
She will read to know how everything works and how to do it and be the person that knows that. Yeah. That's cool.
She likes to read the technical manuals.
That is so cool.
It is cool, but it's a little...
well, it's just different. It's different.
It's different. But it's handy because like she can do things to my phone where I'm like, what did you do? Can you undo?
That is so useful though.
It is really useful. So also, you can connect with me at the library if you need some help on how to find the accessibility features for your elderly relatives on your iPhone.
She could come and do a program.
She could do a program for us. So she should be taking one-on-one appointments because she's skilled. But yeah, I've never met anyone who read one of those from just cover to cover. She was happy as a clam. So, and again, but that's important. But that's not the kind of reading she does in school right now. Sure. In school, they're reading, Poe, which is great. Poe's amazing. But she's like, that was a creepy story. I'm going to go read this manual to this piece of tech that we have now. And that's what she wants to do.
That's great.
In our quest to inspire the next generation of scientists, engineers, and innovators, the library offers a wide range of programs and resources on science, technology, engineering, and math, together referred to as STEM. For young explorers, our STEM programs ignite imagination and hands-on learning. Did you know you can design your own video game, code a robot, create a marble roller coaster, or try out exciting science experiments? Together, we make STEM fun. Your library also has STEM resources you can explore at home. You can check out books on great STEM topics and borrow cool stuff, like telescopes and exploration kits from our Library of Things. Unleash your creativity, foster innovation, and explore all that Spokane County Library District has to offer. We invite you to visit one of our libraries today.
Because that's what she enjoys, and that would count.
Okay. Yeah. So the Winter Reading Challenge is where we come from, and it's January 1st to January 31st.
That's right. And you can start signing up in December.
You can start signing up in December. On the website, you'll probably see a banner that says Winter Reading Challenge, where we come from. Click on that, or we'll have the link below, and or in the description if you're listening.
And if you have the Beanstack app on your phone, it'll just show up right there.
Really quick, I'm trying to wrap up, but really quickly, the app on the phone, it has this cool feature where you just like click a button and it starts the timer, and then you click the button when you're done, and it stops the timer, and it just like boom, you're logged.
I love that so much.
I've done it both ways, and because when I was on vacation and I was just not tracking, but my phone tracked like, oh, you read this book for 1 hour and 21 minutes. Right. So then I'd go in and put it on the website. So that's another way you can go in and put your time on
both ways.
Yeah, both ways. So anyway, Beanstack on your phone, on the web, and link below.
Yeah, and start your year off.
With
a good book.
With a great book.
Or several.
Well, thank you, Gwendolyn.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you do some winter reading. Check out some books. If you don't have anything to read, we have everything.
We can help with that.
We have digital books. We have audiobooks. We have books on CD if you want to do it that way. We have books on paper. We have Tumble books, which are like little videos. Yeah, it's great. We can help you read.
It's what we love to do.
It's what we love. All right. So anyway, I hope you take us up on the Winter Reading Challenge. And thank you for watching and listening. And we will see you next time. Yeah.